Hey team, before you do anything as far as course building in Schoology, there's one very important step that you need to take that will really save you a ton of time down the road and just makes the whole process a lot more efficient. You see, by default, the way that Schoology imports our rosters is to create a separate roster for each class section. So in other words, if you have an inclusion or gifted section, as Ms. Bryant does here, you might see two third period roles. That doesn't mean you have two third period roles. It means you've got your gifted or inclusion, and then you've got your regular ed. Now, as it is, you can still use the system, but every time you create an assignment, you're going to have to then save it to resources and re-import it into each class period. And that's not efficient. I'm going to show you a way to work around that. So I'm going to courses right here, and I'm going to click See All. Now the first thing that we need to do to make this a little bit more efficient is to get our kids from this .9 roster back into this regular ed group. For starters, and you're not going to break anything by doing this, click that little gear next to your .9 or other small roster, and you're going to go to Edit Members. And when you do that, you'll see your abbreviated roster here. Those are the 8 or 9 kids in that section, and then the administrator. And we're going to unenroll each one from this course. Now don't freak out about that. You've got your grade book that you can refer to see who's in that .9 roster. Have it handy because you're going to re-enroll them into the regular ed third period. It changes nothing at Infinite Campus. It just changes the way that Schoology sets up your grade book and makes it easier. So I'm going to go through and unenroll each of these students. There. Now for all intents and purposes, that third period roster is empty. Now where do those students go? Back into third. To add them back into the third period roster for regular ed, click on that gear, Add Members. And you can actually do this all at once. You don't have to go in and keep going back and forth to add. So I copy down the name of those students ahead of time. So in this search bar up here, I'm just going to start typing in that last name. And there's my student. Once you select her, she's tagged there, and I can go through and do that for all of them. There we go. So I've got my kids selected. You see that 6 selected right there. Add members. And by the way, as kids unroll or classes change, you can always go into your roster and move kids around in Schoology. It doesn't affect Infinite Campus whatsoever. So now when I look at my third period roster, over there in members, I'm looking at my third period right now. I'm going to click members. I should see all the kids in that class period. And again, you can always edit this. You can add members there. You can take them away. Any student can be withdrawn from your Schoology course depending on need. I'm going to go back up here to courses. This is the second part of this process. It's very important to making this a more efficient system. When you go to courses and go to See All, you'll be at this screen. I'm going to link these 4 courses, just record keeping in Schoology. Now I can go in and link my rosters. So I'm going to start with third period. Click on that little gear there, and then link existing session. It's a pretty straightforward procedure. I'm going to select which course periods I'm going to link. It's 4, 5, and 6. It's not really a reason I can think of to not link all unless you're going to do something very, very different with one class as opposed to another. But you can still actually differentiate student groups within a class section so that they can only see the assignment anyway. And I'll click Next. This is a backup. And since you haven't probably used Schoology or taken any grades, it doesn't really matter. But you do have to select one of these 2 options to pass go. So we're going to select Standard CSV and download the next. And then it's going to tell you what you're doing. You are going to link these sections so they share grade setup, materials, and course profile, which are good. And remember that member enrollments will still belong to their respective sections. So your third period is still your third. So I'm going to click Link Sections. And there you go. Now remember that this .9 roster, we deleted everybody out of that. We don't need it anymore. I'm just going to delete it. Click Delete. And there it is. So if I go over here in my courses, see how they're all combined now. You've got one stream. Click on that. And your students are still only going to see their third period class, so you still can create an assignment and just push it to that class. Right now my materials is blank. And just to show you what it looks like when you create an assignment,